Welcome back to Talk Yours. Today we're doing shooting guards. I'm just getting right into it because we have a Kendrick concert to go to. Probably the last one ever in Utah. That's what they say. So,
Who's they?
Who's they?
you guys. I just heard you guys say
What
it.
are your sources? All right,
Okay,
go
I have
on,
no
go on.
sources.
Clock Muncher Sports.
So pretty much we have 38 shooting guards. If your shooting guard's not on here, I don't care.
They're either a small forward or they're just,
Or they're
not
just-
good enough.
Or
to
they're
be
just.
analyzed.
Or they're Jordan Clarkson, apparently.
Or they're Jordan Clarkson.
Well, he just did put Jordan Clarkson.
Or Pat Bev.
Stop saying Pat Bev.
He played shooting guard last season.
He's not going to play shooting guard this year on the Jazz.
Really?
He's
You think he's
not-
gonna be on the Jazz? All right, never mind. Let's
Okay,
go.
whatever.
Okay, whatever. Okay, who cares?
For the last one, and I feel bad, Spurs fans. I don't hate you, but Josh Primo is the worst shooting guard on this list. He was kind of a reach in the draft when he was drafted.
He was 18 years old.
He was 18 years
He has-
old.
he has
He's-
a lot of-
19 now in his second year.
He has potential. I'm not gonna get too far into it. Yeah, but he's fine.
My 38th is Killian Hayes. I just didn't put Primo there because I think Primo has the potential to get better, and I think Hayes just kind of is what he is. I think that Hayes really is the definition of just wasted potential.
Oh no. Hayes still has potential, but it's been defensively he was really good last season. I also have Killian Hayes at 38. Defensively, he was really good. He couldn't buy a bucket to save his life. He couldn't shoot. He couldn't get to the rim. He couldn't pass. It was just bad for him.
Okay,
I want to see him get better though. I want to see him.
Yeah,
get
maybe he works on the team with Cade coming off the bench. But
better. Maybe.
Number 37, I have Killian Hayes, but I still think he was a good defender, and he didn't. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's an amazing playmaker, but 4.2 assists, 1.4
not bad,
turnovers. He's not turning the ball over that much. But it sucks that they drafted Ivy. And he's not really. He's going to be given a 6-man role, but I
He
still
might
believe in him.
flourish, bro. He might
I still
flourish
believe
as a 6-man.
He's supposed to be the French James Harden. That's another French guy that I'm just never going to trust.
He's
I don't
young.
know. Actually, I will trust. I actually like Killian Hayes, but oh well. What was your 37?
my 37 is Primo. I just think skill wise, him and Hayes are comparable, and I think he'll get a larger opportunity with DeJounte in Atlanta this year. So
Yeah. I got this guy lowest. I have Jalen Suggs at 37. Athletic guard, can't shoot, bad field goal percentage. He has potential if he improves. He was a good defender for like a rookie in terms of being good defensively. If he can get a jumper down, if he can learn how to limit the turnovers, take some better shots, he can be higher on this list.
Okay. 36, I have Lonnie Walker. Yeah, I don't know. He's pretty inefficient, kind of a shot chucker.
Laker killer.
Wasn't on a
Lonnie
very
Walker.
good team. He's a Laker now. He might be better, but he will be asked to guard the best
He
perimeter.
can't defend. He can't defend. Like I saw a stat the other day from like the most advanced like metrics or whatever, and he's like one of the worst defenders in the league by
So,
far.
yeah, looking at Fate, he actually might. He might come off the bench though.
I think he is going to come off the bench.
Because you cannot put one of Russ or Lonnie Walker.
He's gonna
against the other team's best perimeter
He's gonna
defender.
try and fit that Malik Monk role, and we'll see how he does in it. But I don't know if he can replicate what Malik Monk did last season.
I mean, he's not as good as Malik Monk.
I mean, Malik Monk was considered pretty shit in Charlotte.
That's true, but Malik Monk always had that potential.
That is true.
He had
I
the
don't know. Lonnie
the
Walker
athleticism.
Lonnie Walker's like he has bunnies. He can get up.
Oh, he
there.
does.
If he gets hot, he can score. But
Yeah.
besides that, he's not that good. Who do you have at 36?
36.
Yeah, 36.
So that you just said Lonnie Walker
Yeah.
at 36.
Yeah.
I have Jalen Suggs at 36. Kind of similar to what you said. I like his athleticism, but there's not much else to like from his performance last year. He got a lot of touches because he was on the Magic. Hopefully that means he'll get better this year.
Magic have a lot of guards though.
They do. They have
I feel like
Fultz,
eventually they're gonna have to
Suggs,
choose
Hampton.
between trading one of them.
I think it's Fultz. I think Fultz is going to be the one that has to go.
I don't know. Fultz was nice when he played last year.
He was, but
It's just.
I don't know.
It's kind of age. Now that
he's the
Fultz is
oldest of
old,
the three.
I wish Fultz would go to a contender and show who he really is. He's
Put
not
him
going to
on
show
the
who he
Lakers,
is on
bro.
the Magic.
Put him on the Lakers.
Put him on the Hawks.
Put him on the Mavs. Put him on the Mavs.
What do you need
Put him on
another
the
point guard for?
I'm good on Aaron Holiday. Yeah, I mean he's good. I'm not gonna. Aaron Holiday's decent, but like he's not too dependable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
But he play defense. That's
At
what-
36, I have Josh Primo. Reasons that I already stated. Spurs fans like to call him the next Kawhi. I don't know if I'd go that far ever, but he has some potential.
Okay. At 35, I have Jalen Suggs. He can. I still believe in him. He has a lot of potential, especially as a defender, playmaker. And he has Bankero now to complement. He's not much of a scorer. Suggs is, so Bankero can complement that. Yeah.
Okay, at 35, I have Isaac Okoro. He was really efficient last year, but just not really a lot of volume stats to base his performance off of.
Teams kind of just left him open. That's how he made his.
I feel-
He
feel
couldn't
like-
play in the plane because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ready to take on any larger of a role, and so because of that, I have to put him that low.
Okay.
35, I have Lonnie Walker. Reasons already stated, but I think he's better than Primo, Suggs, and Hayes, but he's not that good in terms of this list.
Okay. So we had the same last four, kind of just
Yeah.
different order.
Mhm.
34, I have Grayson Allen.
Wow.
I don't know. He just he's kind of a shooter, decent defender. He just doesn't really. There's I said the point guard position was really talented, but shooting guard is as well. I think like players at 26 are players that like got 15 million a year. So I'm not too high on Grayson Allen.
No, I was surprised by that too. Going through the list, I was expecting it to be, a lot worse than the point guard list, and it is. The point guard list is the most. It's the most talented position in the NBA right now. But it was hard to rank some of these guys and put them as low as I put them. But then looking at the guys above them, it's like I can't put them above
Yeah.
these guys.
Yeah.
So 34, I've got Lonnie Walker. A lot of the same stuff you said. I think he's got potential. He's got insane athleticism. If he can develop a shot, he can fill that Malik Monk role. He's just not a good perimeter defender, and that's really what the Lakers could use right
Yeah.
now.
34, I have the lowest on this guy, and I hate putting him this low because I really think he's a good player. I have Chris Duarte at 34.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I want to put him higher, but his defense isn't up to par. His shooting is very good. He's a good shooter. He can get his own shot off. With that being said, though, his true shooting percentage was very bad. Like it was like pretty much like bottom percentile in the league. But Duarte's solid. Duarte's very solid.
And he's also not going to get very many shots up next year,
Yeah.
I think, because you have Buddy, Mathurin, and I guess Tyrese.
You know who can get him open shots?
Who? Tyrese?
Russ.
Oh, Russ.
No,
Okay, yeah.
No. Don't you think that some of that true shooting percentage is because he was working a lot in isolation? Like, he wasn't really. It wasn't a ton of catch and shoot stuff. He had to create a lot of his own shots.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to see him in actually a winning role, because I still think even though he's a rookie, he's still in that age, 24, 25, where he can go to a contending team. He doesn't really need to be on a rebuilding team, but...
And I mean, I feel like people kind of undervalue him because he's so old and because he was a rookie. They're kind of looking at him like a 24-year-old rookie. What's he gonna do? But it's still a 24-year-old player in the NBA with experience, and he just got a whole year of NBA experience, and I think he's gonna get better. Maybe he's not gonna take that significant jump that younger rookies might take, but I think he's gonna get better.
Yeah. And then... What's next?
33. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's me. 33, I have Isaac Okoro. Just really good defender. Probably a top 10 defender. Maybe I'm lowballing it. Maybe top 5 defender on this list. But yeah, just his offensive capabilities. Can't create for himself. Is barely good in the role.
Okay, we're good. So we're at 30. Did you say what you wanted to say about him?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's all.
Okay, so 33, I've got Grayson Allen. It's a little low. But honestly, I think that
He's mid.
he's just not a guy that can go get. He relies on the fact that he has another good player around him to create spacing on the floor for him to get an open shot. He's a catch and shoot player. Defensively, he's solid. I think he's in definitely the better half of defenders on this list, and he's like a Patrick Beverley in the sense that he's very pesky on defense and he'll keep after you the whole game. But yeah, he just doesn't fill any sort of a larger role than like a fourth or a fifth option, so I can't put him higher.
That makes sense.
33, I have Isaac Okoro. Defensive monster, offensive liability.
Okay. 32, Chris Duarte. I already said everything, or you guys said everything.
32, I've got Evan Fournier. Just another one of those guys. Like, it's kind of similar. A lot of the guys that I put lower are just guys I don't see being, guys that you really want to have the ball in their hands all the time. Like, he's great as that wing, corner, whatever, just that kick out guy who can hit a three.
Yeah.
But defensively, he's not great, and he's not going to be the guy who creates his own shot.
Like, so far, everything that I've heard so far is like within 2 of mine, so that's pretty close. But like, man, Evan Fournier being that low, when he was getting $20 million a year, like 1 year ago from the Knicks,
Yeah.
because he's good. It's just the fact that I don't know, scoring is so wishy-washy. 1 year you can be really good, 1 year, I mean, you can be the same player, and it's just totally different.
Consistency is valuable.
Yeah.
You can put up 13 a game, but if you're putting up 18 one game and you're putting up 8 another game, that it makes a difference than putting up a consistent 13. And I feel like he's that type of player.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've heard Knicks fans, say about a whole bunch of starting lineups, and not a single one has even had Evan Fournier, which I think is crazy to me. Because I mean, you could put RJ at the 2, Reddish at the, but you can't count on Reddish. He's barely played for your team. He has obviously some drama to him.
With the position the Knicks are in right now, I would start Reddish over Fournier.
You would?
Mhm.
I don't know.
I feel better giving him a chance to show what he can do rather than sticking with a guy that I know what he's going to give me, and it's not going to put us in any sort of contention for a playoff spot in all reality.
Yeah.
Unless Randall plays better and Barrett, takes on a larger role. I say start Reddish. But anyway, who have you got?
I also have Fournier at 32. If this list was based on how well they perform on national TV, Evan Fournier would quite literally be number one on this list. But it's not based on that, so he's at 32.
National TV against the Celtics.
National TV Evan
That was a
Fournier
crazy
is,
game.
is actually the best one.
I remember
like.
turning off that game, and because I feel like the Celtics were up big at one point in that game, or
Was that the game eventually RJ hit the game winner?
that was the game when
Yeah.
RJ hit the game winner. And
That
I
was a
remember
crazy
seeing
game.
that, and Fournier had 30 something points, and that was crazy.
I might have bet on the Knicks that game. I might have. I totally forget that night, but I feel like I had something to do with
It was
it.
a crazy shot by RJ, too.
I was.
Okay, that what?
31.
Oh, for me? Okay.
Mhm.
31, Austin Reeves. He's a good defender, it looks like. Decent defender. He can hit catch and shoot shots, but overall, he just hasn't shown me enough compared to the rest of the 30 other shooting guards.
I've got Kevin Herter at 31. Very similar to Evan Fournier. Catch and shoot guy. Not a great defender.
He's a decent defender.
He's decent.
He's
just because
he can do his job.
He's serviceable,
Because
but
he's tall. That's it. He's
that's
like
why
6'7".
he's above Fournier's, because I
Yeah.
feel like he's a better defender than Fournier. But offensively, they're comparable, and just generally the same thing I've said about a lot
Yeah,
of these guys.
doesn't
He's a
matter.
fourth or fifth option.
31, I have Herter as well. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does on the Kings with how many with like all the guard depth they have there in Sacramento. But he's solid, man. He can shoot what, like 40? I think he could shoot 40% from three.
He
If
can.
he put his mind to it, if he focused on making a shot as reliable as he can get, he can shoot 40% from the three with ease.
Yeah. I think
Um,
it's right now 38, 39.
Yeah,
but
he could
definitely-
easily do
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay, number 30, Evan Fournier. I'm not even going to say anything
Yeah.
else.
I think I've got him the highest because I think you already said him, and I think you already said him. I've got Chris Duarte at 30. I like his game. I think out of all the guys, like even up into getting close to like 26, I think he has the best isolation game out of any of these guys, and I think he's a guy that I don't know. I understand what you guys are saying about his shooting percentage being a little bit lower than you'd like it, but I feel like a lot of that is because he was on the Pacers and he was expected to create his own shot a lot of the time. I think he's a talented player, and I like his upside despite his age. So yeah, I feel okay putting him at 30.
Yeah.
At 30, I have this guy lowest on the list. But with that being said, he's a lights out shooter. He can get a bucket. He's good in the pick and roll. He can't play look at defense. I have Seth Curry at 30.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I have
What?
Seth, I have
No.
Seth Curry at
No.
30. I do. I have Seth Curry at 30.
Wow.
If you have him at
30?
30, then I think he's the most underrated player in the game.
He's very underrated. He's
You cannot put him at number 30.
offensively. I value defense highly on this list. You'll
That's-
see. I value defense
That's
highly.
fair, but this is a guy
But-
that we're talking about that can put up a 50, 40, 90 season.
He could easily do that. Offensively, he has no flaws in his game.
Oh, he has.
I think he was close this year. I think he just didn't shoot 50% from the field.
I mean, this dude averaged
I mean-
20 on amazing efficiency
Yeah.
in a playoff series.
I know
that they
offensively he's
needed.
amazing. Offensively he's a monster. Seth Curry's a great offensive player. He's a great shooter. Probably top. Am I crazy for saying Seth Curry's a top 5 shooter in the league?
No, you're not
No,
crazy.
so why?
Seth Curry's a top 5 shooter.
I'm
in
just
the
going
league.
to say a
Yes.
player. How do you have him under Tim Hardaway Jr.?
Because I think that was the debate. That was the debate. I was like, will I put him above Tim Hardaway Jr.? The thing with Tim Hardaway Jr. is last year he had an absolutely horrid season. But like what I've seen Tim Hardaway Jr. do in the playoffs and in past seasons, I'm like, one bad season doesn't take away from what Tim Hardaway Jr. can do.
I mean,
Has he actually been
okay.
good in the playoffs?
That series versus the Clippers when they went to 7, not the year where they had Porzingis.
I mean, I
And-
think Seth Curry's had a better series than that.
I wouldn't.
I mean,
I
so let me just tell you his stats real quick. Shot 49% from the field this year.
Crazy.
He shot 86% from the line, so he didn't quite get up to 90. Shot 47% from three
Yeah.
on 6.5 attempts.
And this is
a
a guy
game.
who could create his own
That's
shot.
And you can, yeah,
insane.
I'm telling you, any team in the league, Seth Curry would be an amazing player on. Any team. In
I
the
mean,
league.
it's just a credit to Seth Curry
It is.
that him and Steph, the argument of them, who's the better shooter, has been made before,
Yeah.
and it's not even a crazy
I know.
thing to say.
Seth Curry
like,
isn't a-
Steph Curry might be a better catch and shoot.
he did.
shooter
What I will
than
say is
Steph.
Seth Curry did have a bad end of the season last season on the Nets. But that he was hurt.
He had a
lot
bad end of the season
Yeah.
and still shot
I know, he
47%
still shot
from
that
three
high.
on the
That's
whole
just a
season.
credit to how good he is
No, that's
offensively.
crazy.
But defensively, he's just a nightmare. He's he's just a nightmare.
I guess, but he might be close to top 10 in terms of offensive ability on this
Yeah,
list.
no question.
Like
Yeah.
this is tough for me
I think
to say as
Steph
a
Curry
Warriors
could go
fan.
out there and literally average like 18 a game.
Yeah, this is tough for me to say as a Warriors fan, but I think he might be a more talented offensive player than Jordan Poole
Oh my.
in terms of an ability
Yeah.
and an ability to run the pick and roll. I have Jordan Poole higher than Seth Curry because I think Jordan Poole. Well, I'll get to it when I get to it. But
Against the
If-
Hawks,
if-
I was most scared of him.
Jordan Poole?
No, Seth Curry.
Dude, Seth Curry's dude, he's nice.
And he
I
has-
have him
You
at
can't
30.
say,
The thing-
you can't say he's nice.
He's
and like
nice,
30.
but like
I mean, you said he's nice and then put him at
Are you
30.
saying he's a
I
nice
did.
guy? Are you
No,
saying,
I'm
like,
saying
what-
he's an amazing player. I'm not trying to like back.
You can't put an amazing player at 30. He can't
every
be 30
player
or better.
above him,
to some regard, can play better defense than him and is like reasonably, if not just a little below him on defense. On
So you're,
offense.
I mean,
So what's the
The
what's the
difference
diff-
maker is defense.
No, what is the difference between Malik Monk and Seth Curry's defense? Barely anything.
Bias. My bias is the difference between Malik Monk and Seth Curry.
Whatever, we're gonna whatever.
that's
okay,
that's fine. That's fine.
it's not
but
fine.
no.
We're just gonna skip past it. Because that okay, whatever. At 29, I have Kevin Huerter. I just think he's pretty good. He can play some defense. It's just that you kind of need two different. It kind of got exposed in the Heat series. You need two different playmakers, and normally your shooting guard's your secondary playmaker, and he's not really too much of a playmaker. So, I think he could be really good to a team who has a third playmaker or who has a second playmaker outside of him.
Okay. So 29, I have Austin Reeves. I think he's really good. He's a really good.
He fits.
God, he
fits the mold.
He's
He's
he
a
fits
modern
the mold.
NBA two
He
guard.
fits. He's a really good
Fits the
modern
mold.
NBA 2 guard. He can play defense. He can shoot. Can't create his own shot, as well as some of the other guys I have above him, and that's why he's at 29.
I also have Austin Reeves at 29. I think he will have a much improved season this year with what the reports are saying. Now he's hitting the weight room like 3 times a day. And that's really all he needs is weight on him because he was the only points where he was getting exposed when they would take him to the paint. But I think he's going to be higher on this list by the time the season ends.
Maybe, but I mean,
But
on
who
a
else?
team
Like,
with
sorry.
Austin Reeves.
on a team with Westbrook, LeBron, and AD, how many touches is he realistically?
It didn't
gonna
matter.
get?
He fits. How many touches did Caruso get on the Lakers?
I mean, he didn't get many.
Look how much you got paid.
That's fair.
You fit the mold. You do what you need to do, and you'll be fine.
That's true. Okay. Number 28, we're talking about a versatile guy. Offense, defense, off the court. I listened to his album last week. Victor Oladipo. And actually, I'm not even joking. I was listening to it. He has
Dude,
really
you
good
can
music.
sing, bro.
But Victor Oladipo, and I really love the guy, but he has to show me more since because he hasn't been that good post injury. He was not good at all in the playoffs, and we're talking about a huge sample size because they made the conference finals. I hope he can be better, but for now I have him pretty low.
I mean, it's just crazy that he's that low now.
he used to be top 5, man.
He's such a good
Yeah.
defender still.
He's an amazing defender.
It's
I mean, he was a guy at one time that could have been like top 5 defensively and almost top 5 offensively at the
Yeah,
position.
definitely.
And now for him to have fallen this far, it's disappointing
man,
to
it's
see. I really liked Victor Oladipo. when
I
he was
hope
on
he,
the Pacers.
I hope he can get back to that form, bro.
But anyway, at 28, I've got Kentavious Caldwell Pope. Just a guy that doesn't really jump out to me anywhere. Where he's a really solid player, and I mean, in terms of being a catch and shoot guy, again, another good. There's a lot of good catch and shoot guys on this list, but overall, he's just a solid player. Doesn't have too many flaws, and doesn't really jump out at me in any particular area.
Okay.
Oh, what number are we on? 28?
Yeah.
I'm the highest on this guy. I have Grayson Allen at 28.
I'm
The
not
only
mad
reason
at
I have Grayson Allen at 28 is because he can defend very well.
Very well.
He can defend very well. For what he has to do, he can defend
He's
very
kind
well.
of stubborn, but he's
He's not stubborn, but he can defend very well for guarding the third, fourth option on team. Like that's
Yeah.
like he doesn't have to do much. I didn't see Grayson Allen miss shots. Like when Giannis hit him, he was automatic. Like he's
not in
like,
the playoffs.
not in the playoffs, but he was automatic, bro. Like
That's
he
fair,
had,
but-
he had games where he would like have 20 plus just off catch and shoot threes.
Yeah. I mean, it's made easier when you're on a team with Giannis,
Yeah.
Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday, who are drawing all the
yes,
attention.
obviously. But I have him at 28. I'm the highest on Grayson Allen. I just believe he's I feel like he can be a contributing piece on a championship team.
That's fair. Do you? So I have a quick question, and I just want a quick answer. Do you think the fact that he is such a intense player, however you want to phrase it, with the way he goes after other players,
Yeah.
do you think that's a detriment to his team, or do you think that's not
You
as
know,
big of a thing as
the
people
dirty
make it out
whole
to be?
dirty player shit. He is like he's done some shit. You're like, what the fuck? Why?
Mm-hmm.
personally, I feel like he's a guy who gets really competitive, and like when someone, knocks on him and just like, I feel like he takes things to the heart, and it causes him to do some things like that. But in terms of it being a detriment to his team, I don't know if it is. I feel like it more like the team's like, whatever, he's just doing Grayson Allen shit. But
Yeah, I don't think it's a detriment. It's a detriment to his game or the team, but it is a detriment to probably his contract and
Yeah.
fans in general.
that's yeah.
So especially when the Bucks, what do they do? Like
Dude,
the day after,
they tweeted out some shit like Caruso or like Grayson Allen. They're like rooting him on for hurting Caruso. I was so
They
mad at that
actually
shit,
were.
bro.
Like, that's crazy.
I hated that shit.
they kept it up too.
I know.
At number 27,
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway Jr. I feel bad for putting him so low, but he is at the same time just a volume scorer.
Yeah.
And he's at times pretty inconsistent and inefficient. But
It's funny. Before I say my 27, it is funny as we're going through this list. You have a defensive bias, and I'm realizing I have an offensive bias as I'm going through this.
It's just like in the NBA
Like-
now, like I feel like a defensive. You need defensive players at the 2 and 3, like just that it can switch on anybody.
You do, but it's so valuable to have a guy like for the Warriors this year. That's why Jordan Poole was so valuable, is
Yeah.
because Klay Thompson has never been that. He's been a great one dribble, one move guy that you can give him the ball, he can make a move, and he can create a quick shot. But he's never been that guy that you can give him the ball at the top of the key and tell him, go get a bucket.
I think the reason why I value defense so much is because, in terms of guards, is because when I watched the Lakers win a chip, it was just defensive guards. And that's why I value them. I see them
That's
work
fair.
before, and I'm like, oh.
That's
this
fair,
is
but you
why I
need
value them.
I think a defensive guard by himself doesn't necessarily have as much value as a team full of defensive
That is
guards.
true, yeah.
That's why the Lakers were good, is because
Yeah.
Caruso,
Caruso,
KCP, who
Braun
else
was there playing point guard, Danny Green.
Danny Green. Like they were locking down the
Yeah.
perimeter, and then they had the 80
and then they
in the
had
middle.
80 and Dwight and JaVale in the paint.
Yeah, I
That was-
mean, They just had a really well built defensive team.
Who's your 27?
So my 27 is Lou Dort. I have him definitely a little bit low, but he's just offensively.
really?
Offensively,
I
he
don't.
barely shot 40% this year, and it was the first time in his career he shot 40%. So
He did with that. Take that with a grain of salt, because I said it earlier. Shy and Giddy missed a lot of the year, so he was like the number one option, just shot chucking. Like
yeah, I honestly, when it comes to efficiency, I don't take OKC's team into
Yeah.
consideration because they try and lose. At least like the teams like the Pacers and
That's fair,
Rockets.
but the
they-
players-
I
the
think
player-
Dort, I genuinely think Dort is the best defender on this list.
the best defender.
I,
on
like,
the list?
I can't, I'm looking through the list and I'm trying to think of a
Oh,
like, person that's like
I
Definitely
definitely have.
unless I'm like missing someone.
I definitely have someone who I would put. Which
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
definitely.
It's gonna sound
When you
crazy
guys-
when I put
when
him.
you guys
It
just-
might
I
sound
think
crazy.
we're probably the same person.
I would mind
I think there's one other person I could put above him, and I think we're both all thinking the same player. But when we get to him, we get.
I actually don't think Cam is, but I think we are.
I think we are.
You might be.
I think we
I've
are.
actually got two guys that I
I
might.
think
put
we are.
above
When we
him.
get to him, we get to him.
Okay.
At what number 27? I have Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. If he can step up and be a good scorer for Luka, that would help him out tremendously, but he isn't. So 26.
Okay. Number 26, Malik Monk. He's just a good scorer. I don't know. He's not the worst defender on this list, but he's kind of bad. That's all I have to say about him.
26, I have Derek White. Another guy who's, I'm telling you, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I put a lot of these defensive guys lower,
Definitely
but
low.
it's low. But I feel like he's inconsistent on offense. I feel like he gets buoyed by the fact that he has good games and he was on the Celtics and people look at his end of the year performance.
very suspect.
But his shooting is suspect and he's not consistent. Like the Warriors, out of all the guys to leave open on that Celtics team,
You leave Derek White
you
open
leave
with
Derek
the
White
results.
open and you live with the results. Like.
He was just hitting shots.
And he was hitting shots some games, but then some games, we lived with it.
Yeah.
And that's just, when I look at that and you're, at that point, almost an offensive liability because you can just be left open and counted on to miss shots. I can't put you higher regardless of your defense.
At 26, I also have Derek White. Not much else to say about him. Cam pretty much said it all.
Okay. 25, KCP. He's there to shoot and defend. That's kind of it.
Okay. 25, Victor Oladipo. I still think he can come back and have a good season. He'll never get back to where he was a few years ago, which is obviously disappointing. The athleticism isn't where it was. The shot isn't where it was. Hopefully it gets back. But I still think he can be a really solid player. Maybe he starts for the Heat. Maybe he comes off the bench. It just depends on what they decide to do.
25, I have Oladipo as well.
Okay. 24, Spencer Dinwiddie. Just kind of inconsistent at times. And he wasn't that good in the playoffs, to be honest. And he's kind of just a six-man guy. I feel like when you start him, and it showed on the Wizards, he's not that good. And I feel like anyone else could kind of start and they do their thing. So yeah.
24, I've got Bogdan Bogdanovic. I think I think he'll probably take on maybe a little bit of an increased role this year with Herter not being there, and also he'll probably get a few more open shots.
And with Gallinari not being there.
And with Gallinari not being there.
He's gonna have
But again, just another guy that's like he's okay defensively. He's
Yeah, he's not the worst, but, like,
serviceable,
he's kind of like-
and offensively he doesn't do enough to counteract that.
Yeah. I have Bogdan at 24 as well. Same reasons.
Okay. 23. Do I have to be the lowest on this guy? Because I love him. Herb Jones. And that is the best defender on this list. It's
Oh, yeah, I
not-
forgot.
He's the
Yeah.
best defender on
Yeah.
this list.
Okay. So yeah,
That
we're
was-
staying
that was-
there.
Yeah. I
For
forgot
that
about
reason,
that.
Willoughby is this high, and he was actually a decent shooter. You still wanted to leave him open, but he would hit eventually. He's an old rookie, just like Dorte. So I hope that he kind of just develops a lot greater. But his role is kind of going to stay the same. He's just going to be a catch and shoot guy. So I'd like to get right in that spot.
That's a tough thing for him because I feel like he has the potential to be better than that, but on a team like the Pelicans, which has already a few pieces in place,
CJ,
he's just
you don't need more scoring than that.
you don't,
no.
and he's just not going to fit into a higher volume scoring role. But I do think that down the road, if he gets in the right situation, he has the physical tools to be able to score. He has to develop an isolation game, but he's obviously got a shot.
Yeah.
And defensively, I think he is the best defender on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he debatably should have been all defensive team. At least second team.
I think he should have been.
Yeah.
I think he got snubbed. I'd be interested to see what the all defensive teams are to see who I would take off. But I do think he did enough to deserve to be all defensive second team.
Yeah.
We're on 23. I am the lowest on this guy, I think. I've got Karis LeVert at 23.
Not too far off from me.
I don't know. I want to put him higher because I know what he can do when he gets hot. But at the same time, he's been so inconsistent, and I know some of that is medical conditions, injuries, and things you can't control. But at the end of the day, you have to take the player for what he is, and he just hasn't been consistently good the last couple years.
Yeah.
23, I have Herb Jones as well.
Okay. 22, Karis LeVert, you said it all.
Yeah.
22, I've got Malik Monk. I think he'll continue to do the same thing this year that he did last year. Hopefully he can improve his defense. But, I like his game. An athletic guard who can shoot and, maybe can create his own shot.
He
in
can
his
easily
room,
make
but,
his own shot. 22, I got Karis LeVert. Same reasons Camps did.
Okay. 21, I have Bogdan. I still think that when it comes down to clutch time, he's probably like our Hawks' second best player, so you can't really. I guess besides Game 5, Hunter was, but like for the most part, Bogdan kind of carries it. Like he comes off the bench and he ends the game. Really good, decent playmaker, decent shooter, really good shooter, and yeah.
21, I've got Herb Jones. All the reasons we said. Best defender on the list. I think great upside. Just not going to get a bigger role this year.
21, I have Malik Monk, simply because he made the Lakers enjoyable at times last season. Hope he does good in Sacramento.
Yeah. Okay. 20 at number 20, I have Derek White. I just think I kind of have a playmaking bias. Like if you're a shooting guard who can also playmake and do shooting guard things, like he can. I think he's probably a top 5 defender on this list. Like his defense was crazy. I called it a year ago. Like I made a YouTube video being like Celtics. It was centered on one thing: Celtics getting Derek White in a trade, and somehow I prophesied it. It happened. It was a really good move. But yeah, if he was a better shooter, he'd be so much higher in this list.
Yeah. Number 20, I have Tim Hardaway Jr. I think he is a very talented isolation scorer. Unfortunately, he is streaky, but I think a testament to how good he actually is was when he went down, everyone was immediately concerned about the Mavs.
Yeah.
He was the number 2 guy
He got
for that
paid,
team.
bro.
And
He's making like
and I think
25
he
a
I think he
million.
deserved it. I don't think anyone can
He
really
did. That
look at
playoff
that and say
series was
he
crazy,
didn't
bro.
deserve it. So I'd want to put him higher, but coming off an injury, I don't know that I can.
Yeah.
I have this guy severely higher than what you guys said. I don't even think you guys remember this guy, honestly, because it's been so long since anyone said his name.
Yeah.
At number 20, I have KCP. Simply for the fact this because I've seen what this motherfucker can do on a championship team, bro.
Well, it's crazy. I've also seen what he can do.
I
and
can
he's
see
not.
what he can
That's
do, bro.
2 years ago, though. That's
But he was pretty good this year.
40% shooter from 3. Great defense. Amazing defense.
true.
Sneakily athletic, bro. Like I'm not even trolling.
I gotta be honest. I'm not mad at it.
I'm not- dude,
like I
like,
said when I said
When Beal went
he's-
down, he averaged 15 a game
Yep.
on like 40% from 3.
When I talked about him, I told you he's solid. There's no real flaws in his game.
Offensively, he's great. Defensively, he's great. He's just and he got the contract from the Nuggets too. Nuggets are winning it all. I've been said this every episode now.
You have.
I mean, I appreciate you sticking with it.
I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay, number 19, I have Lou Dort, just because I know he's a top 5 defender here. He's a little bit undersized, but that's never really stopped him. You know, he's a decent shooter. Even if the efficiency won't say it, he just doesn't get really open shots. I think if I looked up the stats, it would show he gets one of the least open shots ever. But I don't know. Yeah, that's who I have.
Yeah. At 19, I've got Spencer Dinwiddie. I feel like him and Tim Hardaway Jr. are very comparable in terms of what they can both do. I've got Dinwiddie a little higher because I think he's a little bit better playmaker and a little bit better distributor than Tim Hardaway. But kind of similar to what you said, I think he's talented offensively, not bad defensively. Unfortunately, didn't have a great playoffs to really solidify himself as that.
Games.
He had games
Versus the Jazz, versus the Suns. He had games.
I think I'm trying to remember if he had a game against us because I want to say
I don't think he did.
he
I'm
did,
not gonna lie.
but I feel like I was watching that series and I was kind of wondering where he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still think he's a guy who can be, the number 2 guy in terms of number 2 isolation guy in Dallas.
Yeah.
Now they have Christian Wood. I think that team will be good. I don't know if they will contend for a championship with the West being what it is and the East being what it is, but we'll see. Never count out Luka.
Yeah.
I am the lowest on this guy here. It's because of obviously his defense is terrible, but offensively he had a rough start of the season. He picked it up as the season went along. He's very streaky at times, but when he gets it going, he can become one of the best scorers in the league, and that's Terry Rozier. I love his game. He's a great offensive player, amazing, but I think he needs to be a point guard. He can't play the two. I don't think he can play the two and be successful ever. I think he needs to go to a team where he can be the one. He played the two. He played the one with Devontae Graham, unless Devontae Graham played it. I don't know. Those two were playing like a double point guard when Devontae Graham was there. Now LaMelo's there. The keys are with LaMelo, and Rozier's kind of just become like a spot up, get my bucket whenever LaMelo can't do what he needs to do. Right. And I think if he played as a point guard, he would be a better player. But I have him at 19.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What is this? 18. I have Seth Curry. I just think, man, he can legitimately be like a number 2 option, like offensively at least.
On a championship team?
Championship caliber, yeah. Maybe number 3 on an actual championship, but just his mid-range game, obviously his 3-point game is insane, but his mid-range is just insane.
Yeah.
He just cooks and cooks and cooks. Even in that Nets series, he was probably the most consistent guy.
Him in the pick and roll it's something to be scared of, bro.
It is.
At 18, I also have Seth Curry. I think he's comparable offensively with a lot of guys that are higher on this list, but a lot of the same reasons you said. Defensively, he's the worst defender in. I'm scrolling through here, and it might be the worst defender in like the top 30
like,
or
on the
like
list, he might be.
he's undersized, and he's
He's an undersized 2 guard.
He's not quick laterally, and he doesn't have great hands, so he can't really do anything to counteract his lack of size.
Yeah.
Like guys like Steph and Chris Paul can, where they've got quick hands. So, yeah, it's unfortunate for how talented he is offensively, but I can't put him higher.
18, I got Dinwiddie. He was a good ass fucking player once he went to the Mavericks. It worked amazingly. I think it's going to continue with Brunson gone. I think it's going to become even better for him next season. I think he's going to take on a bigger role, and he's just going to continue to play well.
Okay. Now, this for me is where a huge gap enters between Seth Curry and number 17, Anthony Simons. I think there's a huge gap now. Now these are guys who are like 2 or 3.
A
number
huge
2 or 3.
huge gap.
Huge gap between Simons and Seth Curry.
Everyone who I've already named and everyone who I haven't named yet besides Simons. Yes, I think there's a huge gap.
Okay, so you're saying the gap is between Simons and everyone else.
He's saying that
between
Seth Curry, everyone from this list, there's a huge gap up, is what he's saying.
So yeah, I'm kind of saying, okay, so
Simons is the start of that gap. Or
Yeah, he's the start of the gap.
So Seth Curry, gap, Simons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's what I think. Yeah, Anthony Simons, I mean, we saw what he could do. He dropped 50 against my favorite
He's
team.
lethal, bro.
Or maybe it's 40, I don't know. But he can play make and shoot. That's just an amazing thing. I feel like his fit beside Dame is kind of questionable, but overall, if he played with like a defensive shooting guard, I think he'd just thrive like crazy.
Yeah.
Number 17, I have Gary Trent Jr.
Damn, that's low.
Oh, he's offensive bias. I mean,
I
I had him a bit higher, but
He's a good offensive player though. Like it's not even like he's terrible on offense.
He
bro.
played a lot of minutes, which makes his numbers
that
look
is-
better.
I'm not gonna lie. that is
And
true.
percentage-wise, he wasn't a great shooter for being like the third option on the team. Third option, right? Van Vliet, Siakam. There's no
Yeah,
one
I'd
else
say he's
that's
third.
like.
Maybe
Is
even
OG
third. Maybe even
the
third.
third?
I'd say even fourth or fifth. Scotty,
Scotty's
OG.
not scoring option now.
Is Scotty? I just feel like
OG's
Scotty's
definitely
not-
higher. I know that much.
So he's fourth or fifth.
fourth or fifth. Yeah.
So for being a fourth or fifth option and getting open shots, I feel like he
the
just
Raptors
doesn't
got
have
it,
the-
bro. Like the more you look at that team, the more you're
They're
like,
the
oh.
blueprint. They're
That's
the
a cool
blueprint.
playing team. I mean,
No, like the blueprint. That's what I'm talking about. Like,
And
like the
Boucher
blueprint.
too. Like
They
no
just
one even
they
talks
need a
about
bench,
Boucher.
bro.
like-
They don't got nothing down there.
No, they just need something. But yeah, I got him there. There's not really much else. To say about it.
17, I have Lou Gwentz Dort. Dude, he's just defensively like crazy, dude. He's everywhere. Get a shot down. He was improved a lot. He gets it down. Championship starting two guard.
okay. Number 16, I have Jalen Green. So much potential. He really showed it at the end of the season, but I do need to kind of see it for a whole season.
Okay.
And yeah, that's really
16, I've got Tyrese Maxey. You know, we saw what he did in the regular.
pretty low.
It's low. It's
Whoa,
He was
whoa.
like,
For having an offensive bias and having Maxey that low is quite literally insane.
It's low. I would just take. You know, I'm thinking about who I would take.
You would rather have Jalen Green
Yes.
than Tyrese Maxey.
Yes.
What does Jalen Green do better than Tyrese Maxey besides
I mean,
jump?
Besides jump.
Jalen Green can be a better scorer.
Yeah.
mean,
And you look at Jalen.
he
What
broke
Jalen Green
records
did.
as a rookie.
No, he was.
Yeah, you look at what Jalen Green
Green's good.
did.
With all due respect, Jalen Green's going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
I just think
And
But
right
in terms
now-
of what they did last season,
Yeah, but right now, in terms of what Jalen Green did the last half of the season, I look at that and I say, I would take that guy.
Were you not watching Maxey in the playoffs?
I saw him in the playoffs, and he was really good.
That's a horrid take.
I'm kind of like I'm also kind of have playoff bias, but definitely playmaking Tyrese Maxey is pretty good. With Harden, he's gonna have like less of a role, but we know what he can do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
16, I have. Wait, is it you?
No.
Oh, yeah, 16, I have Colin Sexton. I love Sexton. What?
It's kind of low.
It is kind of low. But
He didn't play the last season.
he didn't
though,
play
so I
last
can
season. Yes,
understand it, yeah.
that's why. Whenever someone doesn't play for a while, I do put him low on my list.
Okay.
Sexton. He needs to improve defensively. He has the tenacity, he has all that, but he's not a good defender. If he improves, I don't know if him and Garland will ever work quite literally. If they all stagger their minutes, they'll work. But I don't think those two are going to work.
I don't know
on the
that
court together.
I don't know that a small backcourt
It doesn't
can
work.
work. in
It's
the
never
NBA.
like
Can
worked.
it even work in the NBA anymore?
No, I think they bring Sexton off the bench and he's going to be a bucket, absolute lethal
Yeah.
bucket for them.
I mean, he's always kind of been a bench player, to be honest. Like not like a six man. Not to be disrespectful. Like he's
Yeah.
really good, but a six man is still an essential, kind of like a Jordan Poole. You know, you kind of
Yeah.
need that. For number 15, I have Terry Rozier. He's a pretty good scorer, pretty good playmaker. Honestly, if I could redo it, I'd put him a little bit lower, but I mean, he's decent.
I've also got Terry Rozier at 15. Kind of similar to what you said. Talented offensively. He's in the wrong role right now. He's not going to do any better or put up any better stats in the role he's in currently.
Yeah.
15, I got Simons. Man, if he gets on his own team, we know what he can do. And he's still young. He's like I don't want to say athletic Dame, but he has
You could say it.
he has like the ceiling is all NBA superstar for him.
Yeah.
It's up to him whether he wants to hit it or not.
I think it
You
is.
say that about so many guys too.
I know. That's just how talented the league is now.
Okay. Number 14, Gary Trent Jr. I think he's a really good defender, really good shooter. And at the end of the day, those kind of players who can create their shot at least a little bit, you
They'll
need
always
them
be
for a
valuable.
championship
They
team.
will
Yeah.
always be valuable.
14, I've got Jalen Green. I think what you saw last half of the season last year is what you're about to see for a whole season this year.
He was doing insane
He-
stuff the second half of the season.
I love his jumper. It's like those beautiful
nice.
The gap between him and Cade is about to get
It's gonna
a
close.
lot
The
closer.
people-
It's gonna
people were
close. It's
flaming
about
the
to get a lot
Rockets.
closer.
People were flaming the Rockets for taking Jalen Green.
So once the draft happened, I had Jalen Green as my number one on the big board.
Yeah.
But I mean, as time went on, I had Cade over him, and it could change.
I
But
think he is easily the best scorer from that draft class, and it's not close.
As of
Yeah.
right now, he
Yeah.
has the most offensive potential of
Yeah.
anyone in that draft class. Defensively, we'll see.
Defensively, terrible.
We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, when you have a guy, dude, that like in the second game of the year, or whatever, when he caught that pass like that,
oh, he did.
No, you
Crazy.
can't. That's the one thing is that he has the most athleticism out of anyone in that draft.
He might have the most athleticism in the league.
And you can't teach that. You can work on everything else, but at some point you're either that athletic or you're not.
yeah.
And he obviously has a lot of other tools to pair with that athleticism. And I'm predicting he's going to be good this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
13. I'm not 13. 14. I have Jalen Green as well.
Okay. Number 13, I have Colin Sexton. I just think he's a man who can. He's not that good off ball, but he could just get you a bucket. He's
Yeah.
one of those guys where he could be.
He can score.
Scoring
That
wise,
game
number
versus
one
the
or two.
Nets, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He dismantled one of the greatest teams we've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie. He's a small reason.
Should I check that?
Oh shit.
We can check it.
We're good.
Yeah, I cleared like 20 gigs of storage.
Okay.
Let's
get this
fucking
over
dad
with. Come on.
jog over there.
13 Cam.
13, I've got Anthony Simons. I think I'm the highest on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I really like Anthony Simons. I wouldn't go as far to call him an athletic Dame because I don't think offensively he's quite
Yeah.
there with Dame yet, and that's a crazy statement to make. That's the best point.
Games?
That's
Steph
the
Curry
best.
with a 40-inch vertical.
That's
I mean-
the best.
Yeah. I don't know.
All due respect to LeVar.
Playstyle wise, it's there. Just
Yeah,
skill-wise,
playstyle wise,
it's not.
is there. Skill wise, it is.
It's but he, I mean, damn.
I mean,
You saw what he did.
Yeah.
I don't think much else needs to be said. All right.
13, I have Gary Trent. I believe Gary Trent has all the necessary tools to become an all-star in this league, and I wouldn't be surprised if one day he is an all-star in this league.
0.5 All-Star appearances, over or under.
I think I could see it. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over. I could see him becoming an all-star.
I thought you were gonna say I could see it. and
At
not
least one
answer, 'cause
time. Yeah, at least one time. I think he'll be an all-star.
I'm definitely putting my money on under. Definitely.
There's so many talented players here, but
Yeah.
with the Toronto's development, I think he could be.
You know what? If 6 guards got injured, I could see it. Okay.
Alright.
At number 12, and I'm really high on this guy, but I still have to put him this low. Tyler Hero. I think he's a really underrated playmaker. Like he can by himself lead a bench like crazy. Amazing score. It's just the defensive potential.
he gets
is really
hunted
there.
more than like deers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when people were comparing him to Trey and Luka, it obviously sounded
When people
crazy.
compared him to Booker, that was something else. But Tyler Hero's got it, bro.
He's got it. 12, I've got Desmond Bain. I don't know. I almost don't like putting him that low.
You're low on the biceps.
You're low on him.
I'm not low on the biceps.
Biceps?
I mean, damn. Bro, how can he shoot like legitimate question?
don't know.
I don't know, bro.
when
He
players
lowered his
get
wingspan to get
stronger-
a higher three, bro.
Yeah, when players get stronger and bigger, they're not supposed to be able to shoot that well.
It's just like the inconvenience of your arm being that big. Like that's
Yeah.
it. It's not even
But he's just a bucket. And
Like,
like,
he just single-handedly proved to get
defensively,
wrong.
offensively, he unfortunately it's not unfortunately with
At
Ja.
times, he was the best player in the series.
He
in
was.
the
No, he was.
playoffs.
I think-
Yeah.
I think-
he was.
Yeah,
I don't
And
know
the
if
Timberwolves,
people-
if they didn't have Desmond Bain, they would have.
Yeah, I don't know if
series.
people remember, but like Jaw had good games at home, but on the
Desmond
road
Bain, bro.
it was Desmond Bain.
I
That's
hated
crazy.
Ja Morant in series.
That's actually crazy how Desmond Bain, like even his rookie year, it was like a no name pretty much.
Yeah.
No, he should not have fallen to 30. Like,
I mean,
people
he
had
shouldn't
him
have. No,
high.
but
I don't know why
he
fell.
went. Even though he fell, even though he had a decently bad rookie season, he should have been. Honestly, he deserved most improved over John Morant.
This year?
He
Yeah.
probably did.
Yeah,
He
did.
improved more as John Morant was already borderline All Star.
Yeah.
Darius Garland deserved the award flat out, but I think second place should have either went to Poole or Desmond Bain without question.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll get to Poole when we
Yeah.
get to Poole, but I feel like there was a lot of misinterpretation with his stats when it came to looking at him for most improved.
Yeah.
But yeah, who you got at 12?
I am the lowest on this guy. I have Klay Thompson at 12. It's simply because the shot selection. He at times will just he will just be taking shots and you're like, why? Like what, there's still time on the shot clock. It's a rush shot. He's not the Klay Thompson of old. He still has the jumper though. You can't leave him open. You can't leave him open at all. He's like the step isn't there. He's not as fast as he once was,
Right.
but he's still a solid player at 12.
I don't know. I can talk about it more when I get to him, but I watched interviews. I watched what Steve Kerr said. I watched interviews that Clay did. And I think a lot of that shot chucking boils down to not
Trying to
playing
get his
for 2
rhythm
years and
down.
really trying to get back. And Kerr gave him the green light.
I mean, yeah, you
Kerr,
have to.
in the regular
It
season, Kerr
worked.
just
Like
said,
I'm not even
like,
trying to fall.
go ahead
Clay,
and shoot. And
Clay is literally the proto you want that into guard. Shoot, score,
Clay,
defend.
Clay
That's
is
it.
legitimately, I think, one of the only guys in the NBA who doesn't have the superstar title, who has the green light whenever he wants.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want to see
question.
confidence videos from Tate anymore. I want to see them from Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. They have the most confidence I've ever seen.
I know, bro.
Is it not warranted though?
No, I'm not saying
Like
it
top
isn't.
2 shooters of all time are borderline.
But I'm
Like
saying, but how good you are does have a relation with your confidence. I want them teaching confidence to people.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, that's something really hard to learn.
Free Andrew Tate.
At number 11, I have Tyrese Maxey, just amazing playoff performer. And I guess this is barely out of the top 10. I think he will be top 10 next year because that was his second year and he's already a top 11 shooting guard. Just crazy. Just efficiency. It's just the defense kind of
Yeah.
holds him back a little bit.
11, I've got Colin Sexton. I think people kind of forget. People kind of forget the last season he was healthy.
He was good,
He
bro.
He averaged 24 points a game on
He was
47% shooting.
Super good.
That's
Will he bounce back the
borderline.
same?
Will he? I don't know, but I have a belief in him. I feel like he's one
I
of the
like
more
it.
talented scorers at the
I like
position.
it, yeah.
I feel like he's in a bad position playing next to Garland, being in that, if they had a better defender to pair next to him, not to say that they had a better player, because Garland, I think, is the better player of the two, but if they had a better defender to pair next to him, Colin Sexton would have a much, better season than he's going to have. But I still think, because he's likely taking the restricted free agent
Yeah.
deal, and I think he's going to have a good year because he's going to be playing
If
for a
Colin
contract.
Sexton finds a way to get himself on the Mavericks, will he be better than Jalen Brunson last season?
Yes.
I think he will. I would also take Sexton with a grain of salt. Like players who haven't made the playoffs yet versus if you're comparing them to players who have.
That
it's
is
just
true.
you don't know how they're because I feel like Colin Sexton.
Yeah. No, I definitely took that.
I'm not gonna say he's a guy who's like easily game planable against because he's fast. He's just gonna outquick you
Yeah.
sometimes, but he might be. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you go, Cam? 11?
Yeah, I would.
11. I have Tyler Hero.
Mhm.
Man. It's time for him to start, honestly.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is with Tyler Hero. He's tremendous offensively. Like his bag is as baggy as it gets.
Mhm.
I don't. That sounds.
That's baggy.
I don't know what else to say. Like his bag.
I mean,
his bag goes deep.
You know,
his
you know
bag
what it
goes
is.
deep.
You know what it is. He's got that dog in him.
He's got the dog. in him.
That's
you know,
it.
you know
That's all
what?
there is to
Tyler
say.
Hero's the definition of watching basketball, and you're like, that boy nice. That's Tyler Hero.
It looks so
That
easy.
white boy
I
nice.
know,
Like
it
it's
just-
wild.
He's like that. He's like that.
Okay. Top 10 now. Number 10, I have Klay Thompson. We kind of know who he is, but at the same time, I mean, the bad shots that you talk about, for the most part, he's been making for the past 5-6 years.
Yeah.
It's just that this year, he didn't have a good playoffs. And I have a playoff bias, so maybe I should put him lower, but I know who he is, With someone who can win 4 rings like this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just not, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And he was hurt for so long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm excusing him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I do really want to get into this because I am very interested that you guys have this guy above Klay Thompson. Jordan Poole is my number 10.
Oh, you have Jordan Poole under.
I have Jordan
Klay
Poole under
Thompson?
Klay Thompson.
Because
let me tell you,
It is strictly
let,
because.
Let me tell you
Go
why. Let me tell you why. Okay, Jordan Poole is a very talented player, and when I have not seen someone fill that role on the Warriors, that secondary playmaker role after Steph, and he, obviously he can shoot the lights out when he gets hot. When there's a baddie on the court side, he's gonna, shoot it from half court. But here is my problem with Jordan Poole. And let me also just say this. I think he's an underrated defender. I think, he's
also
got
a big
quick hands.
liability.
He's not a big liability. And I think it'll be interesting to see what kind of role he takes on with the Warriors this year with Klay being healthy. And, I honestly don't know which one of them's going to start. I don't think Klay will take it if
There
he comes
is
off the
no
bench.
way Steve Kerr lets Klay come off the bench.
There's no way Steve Kerr lets Klay come off the bench. But in terms of who deserves to start, there's a legitimate argument to be made there. Here's my issue with Jordan Poole. There were several times I watched him in the playoffs last year, at the end of games, in close games,
There's a lot of boneheaded decisions.
or at the beginning of games when they had a chance to close out the series. He needs to work on his composure.
Dude, he's young, bro.
And his
Like-
he's young for sure, but I need to see him.
Luka Doncic has
Actually-
ruined the idea of what we think young players are. Most of the
Well, I
time,
mean, any great player does
no,
that.
I'm just saying, most of the time, young players come in the league, and it almost like always, it will just they take a while to develop into the game.
Listen. That was his third year. He's going into his fourth year.
He's gonna get
Now
more mature. He's
gonna get more
understand
mature. He's gonna get better. I'm basing this off of last year, and what I saw last year was a guy who has all the offensive tools, is not a defensive liability, has all the skills to make him better than Klay Thompson in terms of what they both showed last year. Klay Thompson's a better defender, and Jordan Poole just needs to mentally be aware sometimes. He is a guy who will just throw up a shot or will try to
That
just
motherfucker going in, bro.
like
No, I'm not
throw it
gonna
up and go
lie.
in.
I don't want him to mature
goes-
more. I want him. I think what makes him so scary and so good is the fact that he's
He's
so
unpredictable.
unpredictable.
No, and-
He's unpredictable.
it's great that he's unpredictable. I'm not talking about his unpredictability. I want him to keep that. I'm just saying when it's like a close game and you're coming down the stretch of the fourth quarter, I would rather have Klay Thompson in the game than Jordan Poole. Simply because Jordan Poole I can't rely on to make an intelligent decision. I feel like Klay Thompson I can rely on to make an intelligent decision more than Jordan Poole as of right now. But I'm very excited to see what he does this year.
I guess. At 10, I got Poole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At number 9, I have Desmond Bain, just underrated defender.
Biceps.
Biceps. No, just biceps.
Just biceps. No other explanation. Biceps.
Number 9, Klay Thompson. Better defender than Jordan Poole. Did you know he was actually number 1 in rim protection for non-bigs
Really?
in the NBA? Yeah. I didn't know that. I remember seeing him get a lot of blocks. He's lost a step, and he's not the same perimeter defender that he used to be. But I feel like he's still a very valuable defender at 6'7" with a long wingspan.
You know what? That makes sense because I was playing a wager, Warriors vs Cavs, and this dude Klay Thompson stopped Jarrett Allen at the rim. I was so heated. Oh my gosh. I've never used the Cavs yet. I'm 0-2 with them. I'm just not.
At 9, I got biceps.
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 Number 8,
Desmond Biceps.
we're talking about 50% from the field, 39% from 3, 91% from free throw, 17 points per game in a playoff run. We got Jordan Poole.
Yes,
You
sir.
got a dude who you can't. I'm not joking. You can't guard him because you don't know what he's gonna shoot.
He does travel every time, but like,
Yeah.
If you can
he's
get
a
away with
bucket,
it.
bro. You get away with it. You get away with it.
I just think a playoff run like that. I'm
He
just gonna take it
solidified
over
himself.
Klay
Bro.
Thompson.
He solidified
Yeah.
himself.
No, I genuinely think
If they don't have Jordan Poole, they wouldn't have won at all.
hey, he gets that where it needs to be and his maturity where it needs to be, he should start over Klay. But right now, we'll just let it.
I think he should start over Klay
I
already.
don't think so. I like him off the bench. There's certain play, like a Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
You just shoot whatever.
Also, I feel like he just fits better off the bench.
I think he does.
Plugging in with the starters sometimes and it works.
So number 8, I have Tyler Hero.
It's high.
It's high. No, it's high for sure. But
High for Boy Wonder.
I have him higher if it wasn't for his playoff run being so bad.
He was hurt, so I mean, like,
I can't
playing
fault
for
him
an
too much
injury.
for that. He needs to start. He'll be the second option on that team when he starts.
personally, I feel like they should. I don't want to like say move on from Lowry, but give Tyler Heroes the keys at the point guard position for the
You know what?
Miami.
They paid him $30 million.
I know.
What are you gonna do with Lowry though? Like,
He's a good defender still. He's offensively, he can pass.
the problem with Lowry is you've also brought him into that locker room to be a leader.
He-
And if you take him out of the
He
starting
fits the
lineup,
Heat
then he's
culture.
this. If you take that big, ginormous.
Okay, no. All right.
No, but what I'm saying is.
Okay.
What I'm saying is
Oh,
you
right.
take a guy that you brought in to be a leader out of the starting lineup, and he might end up being disgruntled. You lose that leadership in the locker room.
Dog, I don't. How much more leadership does that team fucking need? You
I don't
know,
know.
Haslam is 42 years old.
Okay, what is he leading? What the fuck is he leading?
That's their
He's on the
leader.
coaching staff at
They
this
need
point.
Jared Dudley, bro.
The GOAT.
Oh,
My
real
GOAT. My
bad shit.
GOAT. My
Like
GOAT.
Elmer
My GOAT.
Fudd.
My GOAT.
Who?
Elmer
He looks like the guy from
Looney Tunes. Elmer Fudd.
I've never heard of him.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Corby.
Okay, so
Oh
all
All
my
right.
god.
What number are we on? 8.
You sorry.
We're on 8.
Number 8, yeah.
It's Jared Dudley.
Number 8. I have the Kentucky legend himself. The guy that I used to say was better than Anthony Edwards when they were getting drafted just to piss Corby
Oh
off.
my gosh.
But he has actually turned into. I thought he wasn't going to be this good in the league. I didn't think it was actually going to become. He was going to become this good. But I have Tyrese Maxey at 8.
Yeah, no one did. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I
I
as a
still don't
Kentucky
feel bad
fan-
for hating on him.
I, as a Kentucky fan, did not think he was going to become this good. But he's
It's
he's
just
him.
a shooting.
He's him,
He
bro.
wasn't supposed to be a shooter. Going into
He's
the-
like fast, bro. Like he gets the ball. He's just like I'm like what the. Yeah,
He definitely has so much all-star potential.
I know, bro. Written all over him.
Honestly, yeah, I don't know. I see him like getting like 3 or 4 all-star appearances.
I can see it.
But number 7, I think I'm gonna have him the lowest. Zach LaVine.
Oh.
like I said, if you can't perform in the playoffs, I'm not messing with you. He didn't.
I mean, it was
He
like
was hurt. Oh,
was it his first time in the playoffs?
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah. And even okay, I'm not gonna excuse that because I mean, you at the end of the day, you're in the playoffs. You just have to perform.
Yeah. Well, I mean, DeRozan was still bad in the playoffs too.
But I mean, I didn't have DeRozan that high. Oh wait, we haven't done the list.
Yeah,
yet.
we haven't done that
Yeah,
yet.
I think I
Alright.
won't have him that high. But,
All right,
Um,
7 Cam.
7, I have Jalen Brown.
Damn.
That's low, isn't it? But like,
No, yesterday I was telling I was on PlayStation with Corbin. I was like, can I put a player that can't dribble with both hands in the top 3?
yeah, it's the problem. The problem really lies in his ability to create his own shot when you force him one direction, and he is so out of control.
If
with
he
his
can
dribbling.
dribble the ball, he'll be insane.
There was possessions during the finals where I would just watch Jordan Poole come down the court and turn the ball over, and then Jalen Brown would come down the court and turn the ball over.
He is, however, one of the better defenders on this list.
He is.
he's probably the best defender I'd say in the top 7.
In the top 7, there's one that's debatable.
There's
There's
one
that's
guy.
debatable.
No, there's one guy that.
There's
is
one guy
a
that's
better
very
defender
debatable.
than him.
I don't think it's a debate. But
Okay.
Who's your number 7?
Okay. I love this guy at number 7, right? I love him. But like I said before, I do put people that miss a majority of the season lower. So at 7 I have Bradley Beal. Despite how great of a player he is, despite improving his playmaking, despite he did take a step off of the scoring, but I think he did that in order to become a better playmaker.
Yeah, he played more of a point guard.
Yeah, and he's still a great player. He's still an amazing player. Like you can put, there's a debate for this guy anywhere in the top 30. You can make that argument, and I would not be mad at you. But he hasn't played in a while, so I have Beal at 7.
Okay.
By the way, stop saying free Beal. All right, he is a bag chaser.
He made a-
shout out him.
Okay.
He got his bag, but we don't care about nothing else.
He made-
Professional bag chaser. Shout out to Bradley Beal.
He had a chance after this last contract. Like it could have been free Bill during this contract, but he made a conscious choice
60
to
million a year.
stay in
I'm
Washington.
so happy.
Dude, yeah.
Go up.
Hated
You know
him in
what?
Miami.
I respect
In
it.
Miami, they would have been lethal. But he's a bag. Shout out to him. Get your
Shout
bag,
out-
bro.
shout out.
Okay. Number 6, Anthony Edwards. I love Ant. I definitely think he's gonna be probably like a top 5, top 6 defending shooting guard in the league. Like he has so much
Defending?
potential. He was a really good defender. 28 points per game in the playoffs, amazing efficiency. Definitely, he hit that one like corner 3 that was like contested to tie the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he left John Ray open. After. But-
No, actually, I just realized how right you are about it. Dude, he was like Jaw couldn't do anything against him.
Well, it's
Like,
also,
it's
okay, it's
like-
also
like-
Jaw
like-
because
yeah.
Jaw is one off.
There's no one that's like just as athletic as Jaw, and Ant's like one of those people. So when
Yeah.
you match him up defensively, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
Jaw's struggling here.
Yeah. Number 6, I have Kermit himself,
Yes,
Anthony
sir.
Edwards. I don't think it's crazy to say this.
The
I think
moon
he'll
is
be.
the moon is the ceiling for this guy.
I think he'll be the
bro.
best shooting guard in the league.
That's not even crazy. To say.
It's not. It's. I feel like
within like
it's
2 years too.
within 2 years. You think he'll be
Within 2
better than
years, he could-
Booker?
Within 2 years, he could be in the argument for best shooting guard in the league.
He actually could.
Now I have a question.
Dude, the shots
Like-
he's making are like insane.
No, it's insane.
I'm like, bro, tween, step back,
Yeah.
logo, like
I
what?
just realized, actually, he's also another shooting guard I listen to. You know he has music out.
Yeah, I know, the little baby.
I have a question though. Do you think Anthony Edwards has MVP potential? Do you think
Easily.
he could win an MVP?
Easily, bro.
I think he does.
I think he could easily walk away with one MVP.
One. You don't think multiple?
I don't think in this
league with
league,
John Morant,
in this
Trae Young,
league
he's
where
like-
there's so much talent, it's gonna be.
That's the thing. I don't know
like-
if you're gonna see many guys like
It's hard to say we can't see many guys repeat.
just-
We've seen like in the last 10 MVPs, we've seen like 6 repeats.
Yeah, but
I don't-
those are like dogs.
Those are like
I
LeBron,
understand Ant's gonna be
Curry,
good.
Jokic.
So yeah, LeBron,
Curry,
Curry,
Jokic,
Jokic, Giannis. So 3 top 10 guys of all time, and then a fourth guy who might.
Jokic is top 10 all time.
No.
Giannis or
Giannis is
no
top
shit,
10 all
shit,
time?
no wait.
Wait, was it LeBron?
LeBron and Curry. So LeBron and
LeBron,
Steph, 2
Curry,
top
yeah.
10 guys all time, and then 2 guys who have top 10 potential.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. At 6, I got Ant as well. We
Okay.
all agreed on something.
Yeah. Man, I gotta put a filter on my mouth so shit just doesn't come out of it.
Okay, number 5, Bradley Beal. We just know he's definitely one of the top bucket getters, probably like top 10.
Mm-hmm.
If you just want a bucket, then that's
Get
what
the
he's
ball
there
to Beal,
for.
bro.
Yeah.
It used to be just him and Harden. Like that was the debate. That should
I think it was.
Beal and Harden for like 3 straight years.
Yeah. But I mean, it was crazy that there was definitely a gap between Harden and Beal.
There was simply because of the playmaking. Simply
Yeah.
because of the playmaking.
Number 5, I have Zach LaVine. it is crazy that he tore his ACL.
And he's just like this.
as good.
He's got better.
His bounce, like, I saw a video of him trying to do the 360 from the free throw line, and he couldn't quite get it. But he still got insane
I think he has the
bounce.
best ACL recovery like ever.
It might be.
I mean, Durant got.
It was
that was an Achilles.
Oh, was it Achilles?
Yeah.
Zach Lane was an ACL.
But it's crazy that he's as good as he is. Elite scorer, elite athleticism. I really hope Lonzo stays healthy this year because I feel like that team was trending upwards until Lonzo got hurt.
I mean, that team got hit with injuries, bro. Lonzo, Caruso. I want to say someone else got injured, but I don't remember. But in all honesty, the problem with the Bulls, and I hate to say this, but it all lies in the center. Nikola Vucevic is not the guy for them. He's not the guy for them.
You don't need more offense.
I'm being dead serious. Wendell Carter might have been better for
They
him.
also
than
would have had
Nikola Vucevic.
Franz Wagner.
And they would have.
That would have been insane. I'm not gonna lie.
It's just that Vucevic's defense is so bad.
And that's exactly what that team needs is an interior
I
defender.
mean, they got Drummond.
Nah, Drummond not.
All right, at 5, I also got Mr. Air Canada. Is he from Canada? No, he's from UCLA. Air California is actually.
Okay. Number 4, Jaylen Brown. I just think from all the players I've mentioned so far, as of they stand right now, they're not number ones. And when we talk about number 2s, just what you need from number 2, defense,
Jaylen Brown
shot
has all
making,
of it.
he has everything.
All of it.
So I feel like the number 1 on the team should always be able to create their own shot. So Jaylen Brown doesn't need to do that with his terrible handle. But just as a number 2.
But there was times where he was like better than Tatum in the playoffs. I will say that.
But Tatum also choked. In the
Yeah.
But also, Tatum was
He's
guarded a
asked
lot
to fight.
heavier than.
I feel like Tatum's gonna have a crazy year next year, bro.
Might be a
He's gonna
revenge
mad.
season.
Yep.
Number 4, I have Bradley Beal. We know what he can do.
Mhm.
He's been putting up league-leading numbers in terms of scoring.
Just never
in
amounts to
Washington.
anything. Man.
It just never, and
the only
that's why
time they'd amounted to something was with John Wall, and they broke the duo.
that's why I don't have him, above any of these other guys in the top 3. Also because I think these guys are better, but just because he has not shown himself to be able to lead a team to, like that play.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been that guy on a good team yet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But who knows this year
Yeah.
with Porzingis and
They have a
KCP,
solid little
Kuzma,
roster.
and-
They have a solid little roster.
who knows? Maybe it's a top.
Play-in,
Maybe
maybe.
it's.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something crazy, but
You got the East stack.
not a
East
playoff
is
line.
stacked, but like
All right, at 4, I got Jaylen Brown as well. Arguably the best number 2 in the league. Arguably.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, who is the best
Kyrie?
number 2 in the league?
Kyrie.
Think Kyrie's the best number 2 in the league?
Yeah.
You're gonna hate me for what I say. Brandon Ingram.
Murray.
Brandon Ingram's the best number 2 in the league.
The AD disrespect is actually insane. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, if he's on the court, sure, but
You're a fucking hater.
you're-
All right, go ahead. Number 3.
What we're all here for, the top 3.
Who are you?
At number 3, you guys probably already know my answer if you had to guess. It's Paul George. Okay. I just think when you think of moments and playoff runs that he's been good at, he's had one good playoff run. And I understand it was the most recent one. He was good in that playing game, I'm not gonna lie. And him getting
Don't disrespect him. Like, he had some runs with the Pacers.
He did.
had
That was
some
so
He was
runs.
long. I'm not
challenged-
taking that into
He was
consideration.
challenging. What do you mean you're not?
You
taking
can't say
it?
he's only
his
had one
most
good
recent.
series.
His most recent playoff run was his good one.
Yeah.
I mean, that-
So if you're gonna use recency bias, use it the right way.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think the teams he had to play was pretty weak. I mean, who did he play? He played the Mavs that he's already played before that have no good perimeter defenders. Then he played the Jazz with no good perimeter defenders, and then he played what was the last team? The Suns.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good run against the Suns. I'll give him credit for that. That's why he's number 3. But I still don't think
So you would put him below number 3 if he didn't have that good playoff run? You're putting him below Bradley Beal or
because it
Jaylen
is
Brown or
actually,
any of those guys?
Maybe Jaylen Brown, but for the most part, there is actually another gap between. Because I think
No,
now
the top 3, there's a gap.
I think there's a top 3
Yeah.
in the gap. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no,
you can't,
I'll
you
just have
can't
him
put him lower.
No, I wouldn't. I'd have him number 3, but I'd be lower on him as a player. But ranking wise, he would stay number 3. Just because the first 2 I think are just severely amazing.
That's fair. That's
Scorers.
that's fair. But
That's fair.
I do disagree with that. So number 3, I have Donovan Mitchell, best playoff performer of the top 3.
And that's what matters. That's all that matters.
But that's not all that
Stop
matters.
it. Why did you
That's-
just say it like it was some sort of hot take? He is the best playoff
He is.
performer
He
ever.
just is.
God, sorry.
Ever.
We're top 3. We're talking. I'm sorry, but by the way.
Reggie Bullock had him in hell.
Okay,
Reggie Bullock.
that's fine.
Reggie Bullock is a
But if we're
solid.
talking
Yes,
about,
but it's.
but if we're talking about how Donovan Mitchell has played, if he had an actual team around him that helped him, he should have been on some sort of Finals MVP run.
Dog,
those
he was
2 years
one. He
before.
was one shot away.
Against the Nuggets. Yeah, Mike Conley missed that shot. They should have. In that bubble year, that Jazz team could have won it all.
They're not beating the Lakers. They're not beating the Lakers.
I feel like if
Stop
any
Stop
big,
it. They're gonna be the Clippers and the Lakers. Stop it.
if
Stop
any
it.
big-
Stop it.
Okay, maybe the Clippers. I don't know, but if any big could stop Anthony Davis, it's Rudy Gobert. If any big in the league could stop Anthony Davis, it would be Rudy Gobert. And what is that? Come on.
I'm taking.
I don't know-
Bam.
I don't know
I'm taking
how-
Bam over Gobert to get a stop on.
I will take
AD.
Bam over Gobert as well, simply because AD's so quick with the ball in his hands and Gobert can't guard him. Bam could stay with him laterally.
I'd almost take Giannis over Gobert to get
Yeah.
a stop on AD just because of the quickness.
Dude, I can't wait for this power forwards list.
You know what?
I'm excited,
Discredit
I'm
Rudy Gobert. That goes to my point. That Mitchell, if he was just on any other competent team, like if he was on,
Put him on the Heat, bro. Put him on the Heat.
I really want to see him win a championship so bad. But yeah, go ahead. Tim.
At there, I have Donovan Mitchell as well. And it's simply, like, the scoring's not even a question. He's him. It's simply because the other two players that are above him are better defenders by a country mile.
Country mile.
Country mile.
Booker's,
Donovan Mitchell's a terrible defender.
and Booker's decent.
Booker is a good defender. He improved it, like, dude, no,
He's top 15 at the position.
I'd say higher than that. I'd say he's the top.
He's not top 10. I can probably. Actually, you know what? This shooting guard list is pretty weak.
He's
It's
at
pretty
least-
weak at
He's a
defense.
very good defender.
I'd still say I'm taking Killian Hayes defensively over him.
Over Devin Booker? That's
I saw him
that's
a lot.
outrageous.
That's outrageous.
But whatever. Number 2 for me, I have Donovan Mitchell. Just
The day has finally come where you admitted this. Me and you used to go back and forth with this every day in high school about who was the better player between these two. And this motherfucker every single day said Donovan Mitchell. Every single day.
and trust me, if he didn't have a bad playoff run, I'd have him number 1. But like, just I'm
I
gonna
don't know
take
what-
playoff recency.
I don't know what you have against Booker. Like, it has to be like a personal thing.
What are you talking about?
I've never.
I have him at number one.
He discredits Booker's 70-point game.
I have Booker over Paul George.
He discredits Booker's 71
Why?
point game.
What do you mean why? He's a better player.
No, a
But why would you
71-point game.
70-point game?
Oh, because it was just kind of weak. Like the last 10 to 15 points.
It's 70 points, Corby.
Okay, that's fine. But there's still more impressive 55-point games than 50-point games.
There is. I don't know if there's a single impressive 50-point game. That's more impressive than scoring 70 points in a game.
Giannis in the finals.
That was yeah.
I
I mean,
didn't,
'cause it was actually against a good team. Who did Booker even
That was
do it
against Celtics.
Celtics. The IT Celtics.
The IT
Yeah.
Celtics.
Was
Yeah,
IT playing in that
finals.
game?
All right, whatever.
Did they
Can't
go to
move
the
to-
finals?
I said they almost went to the finals.
All right. Number 2, I have Devin Booker.
Let's go. I
fine.
hate people
That's fine.
casting Paul George. I'm sorry.
Okay, now let's hate.
And I
That's hate, that's
if you
hate.
ever saw this, like, it's just the fact that. Okay, this is my thing with Paul George.
There is not a
People
single.
will gas him up, and I swear. So I watch a lot of basketball podcasts, and if there's like 4 people or 3 people, there's always one Paul George fan who will gas him up like he's some sort of star to superstar. But then whenever he plays bad, they don't give him the same expectation. We shouldn't be
I'm
giving.
not.
If you
I'm
think
not gassing him up.
if you
but,
think
like,
Damian Lillard and Paul George on the same tier, you need to set the expectations the exact same.
I respect that.
that's fair. But you're also talking about Paul George and not Devin Booker.
Yeah.
I think Paul George does quite a few things better than Devin Booker.
What?
For what Devin Booker does
What?
better than Paul George. I think Paul George is a better playmaker for one.
It's close.
Paul George is
it's close.
Paul George is a better defender.
Yes.
Paul George is comparable efficiency wise. Devin Booker is the more efficient player, but Paul George, in terms of being able to create his own shot too, and what they can both do, it's
Paul
comparable.
George. Okay. Here's
I
my
don't-
thing, bro.
Okay, go ahead.
I have Paul George too. Paul
Okay.
George is one of the only players in the NBA that does not have a single flaw in his game.
Yes.
He can do absolutely everything on the court. He can play make. He can dribble. At his height, I don't know if we've seen anyone that can dribble like Paul George at 6'8", 6'9".
No, it's crazy.
I don't know if we've ever
so,
seen anyone like
so
dribble.
why do you have him at 2?
Simply because of just
Being better at more things doesn't make
it doesn't make you a better player. Paul George is amazing, and I'm telling you, every facet of basketball he can do it for you. It's just like if he's that good at everything, how come it hasn't ever got anywhere ever? It's always been one bad series. Oh, he played bad. Kawhi was hurt. Oh, this that. It's like always something.
So this
bro.
is what I look at when I look at that. Indiana years, he ran into LeBron. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
he had good
okay.
playoff series. He ran into LeBron.
Okay.
Then he got hurt,
Okay.
right? And then he comes back. I watched a whole video about this Pacers team, and it's interesting the
He
way
comes
they
back with the Thunder.
He comes back with the Thunder, has a top 3 MVP.
Why didn't it work?
season.
In the playoffs.
Why didn't it work?
Yeah, in the
Because he had a
regular
bad series in the playoffs. So I will tell you he had a bad series there. So what was the next? It was again with OKC.
If you're losing to a rookie Donovan Mitchell when you're top 3 in like MVP voting, Cam, don't you
Okay,
think there's a
but
little bit of
that Jazz team was a better team than that Thunder team outside of the top 2 players on each team.
But I don't think that really just helped Donovan Mitchell. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, like, I'm pretty sure he outscored him.
Donovan Mitchell had like
Dog, Joe Ingles was outperforming him, Cam.
no, he had a bad series. I'm telling you, he had a bad series.
How many bad series can we give? How many times can we give him another chance?
He had 2 bad. The reason people
Why are you
clown
saying
him-
this and then putting Mitchell under him? I don't get that.
defense. That's why.
the
I'm talking about who's better
reason
player.
the reason people clown Paul George is because he came out with that whole playoff P thing, and it was just so ridiculous what he did after he said that. But in all reality, he's had 2 bad playoff runs, and then he had a good one recently. And if they would have had
Not to
Kawhi,
discredit Paul George, Cam, but he's a top 2 shooting guard in the league.
I also want to say
That's
He
enough at that. He's one of the
And
best players in the league.
yeah, he is.
And I think any team in the league, Paul George would start on without question and would become one of the best players
Yeah,
on the team.
I agree.
He would turn the Magic into a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
He would turn the Kings into a playoff. He'd turn any team into a playoff team. He's that good.
Mm-hmm.
But Devin Booker just is that much better.
yeah.
Devin Booker can do everything PG can do offensively, but better. Devin Booker, the defensive edge is that goes to Paul George, but it's not by a lot, bro. It's not by a lot. In the paint, it is like in the down there, Booker can defend. But man, it's just like Paul George. The thing with Paul George is I don't know how many more chances you can give him in order for.
I mean, let's
to be
give him
like-
this year with a healthy Kawhi and a healthy Clippers team. Let's see what happens this year.
And if it doesn't work,
And if it doesn't work, then I'll say Devin Booker's better than Paul
Devin
George.
Booker's proved it, bro. He can do that.
He's made
Made the finals, and his first year in the playoffs, he was insane.
I
And he
do wanna
arguably
say-
wasn't even the best player on his team.
Yeah, he was.
Chris Paul might have no. Chris Paul might have been better in that playoff run than Devin Booker
He
was.
was by far the best player on the team.
No,
in that
there
finals.
was several arguments up until the last half of this
Stop
year
defending
about
Chris
whether
Paul.
I'm not defending Chris Paul. I'm telling you what people were arguing.
does Chris
They're
Paul
arguing
do better than Devin
I'm not
Booker?
saying Chris Paul is better than Devin Booker. I'm saying there was a
just said
legitimate. I know. I'm saying people were making a legitimate argument that Devin Booker wasn't even the best player on his
But
team.
He was. And he is. And no
He
matter
is now.
I don't think there's many teams Devin Booker won't be the best player on the team. In the entire league, there's not many teams that he won't be the best player on the team.
Devin Booker beats. If he was on the Clippers, he beats the Nuggets in the bubble, and they face the Lakers. That's all I'm gonna say. I also want to say one thing. The whole Pacers thing. I think people really overrate how good he was on the Pacers. Now, I didn't really actually Paul George.
In my opinion, that was when he was the scariest. As a LeBron fan, when I had to watch him, I was scared of him.
I will say I wasn't watching the games because I started watching basketball in 2015. But just when you look at the stats, I mean, I guess he was leading his team, but he was averaging like 18, 19.
That Pacers team had a squad, bro. George Hill was solid. Lance Stevenson was good. Paul George, good. David West didn't miss in the post. Roy Hibbert was the best defensive center in the league.
I feel like in years, because I mean, was that team healthy in 2013, 14?
They played the Heat, yeah, went to 7 or 6, 7.
I understand you're going against prime LeBron, but decently prime LeBron, I guess in 14.
3 peaks.
But it's like that was the year to make the finals, was it not?
I don't even know if they beat the Spurs.
Wade
They
and
won
Bosh
the
weren't even
way,
that
bro.
good.
Would they beat the
That
Spurs?
Pacers team.
Would
All you have to do is make the finals.
Exactly.
You don't have to win it.
The Heat and the Spurs were the 2 best teams in the league at that time, and there just really wasn't.
The Spurs are such a good franchise, man.
I also will say, I do want to pull up the stats real quick of Booker versus Chris Paul in that playoffs. Chris Paul averaged 19 points, 8.6 assists, and then Booker averaged 27 points per game.
On what shooting?
Chris Paul, 50% from the field, 46% from 3, and then Booker's obviously not as efficient, 45% from the field.
And 32 from
But I still think efficiency, I mean, you can't really compare the efficiency because obviously
Efficiency is over.
Who had the ball in his hand at the end of the games?
Devin Booker.
No, it wasn't Devin Booker. It was Chris Paul in that playoffs.
I remember both. They kind of split, but definitely Devin Booker because
Devin Booker
got
had-
ripped by Drew Holiday.
If you need a shot,
Exactly.
Cam, in the entire league, you need a shot to win the game. You cannot tell me Devin Booker's not in your top 5 options. To get
He
the
is.
ball.
He's over Paul George.
He is over.
But I'm saying you guys are using his playoff run
Dude,
to
I'm
the
not
finals
using his
as a
playoff.
way
I'm
to
using-
talk about him.
I'm using
Okay?
his overall game and everything he does. Everything he does.
But Booker wasn't terrible.
It may be my Kentucky bias, but I just love Devin Booker, bro.
Like Devin Booker, he had a couple bad games against the Mavs, especially that game 7. But for the most part, Chris Paul didn't show up. Ayton, I'm not even joking. He should have averaged 25 points.
Aiden's a
But
He should have.
But honestly,
There was-
He should have. I just wanted to say he's like slow.
this is what I feel like looking at.
Pounds,
This is what I feel like
fucking
looking at
20
Devin Booker. Devin Booker has yet to close a series on his own. Okay.
What player has closed the series on his own?
What do you mean? What player is closing?
Name a
I'm
player-
talking about in like a game 6 or a game 7. Paul George did close that series against the Jazz.
Yeah, but I just.
I suppose.
Okay. Devin Booker, like Chris Paul, was the guy who stepped up in a lot of late games and series, and or like game 6s, game
So you're
7s,
trying to use
things like
you're
that.
trying to use the fact that he has Chris Paul on his team to downplay how good he is as a player.
No, I'm not saying that.
That is
what I'm
exactly what
saying
you're
is y'all are talking about him like he is the he was the undisputed best player
Undisputed.
in
Best
that
player,
finals
undisputed,
run, and he
undisputed.
wasn't.
Okay, so Devin Booker is a debatedly best player on his team, and they made the finals. While
like
Paul George
He's not.
has, since the Pacers days, has like, I don't know, on the Clippers,
Paul
he's
George
the second
is
option.
so
Name a
good.
team that Paul George had, aside from the year that they lost to the Nuggets when they blew the 3-1 lead, that was better or as good as the Suns team last year.
the Clippers, like that's his best. Like that's his best. team.
Without Kawhi, when
Every-
Kawhi got hurt,
No, the bubble.
that's what I said.
That
He
team
said-
was
he said excluding
miles
that. He
better
said-
than
he said
the
ex-
Suns.
He said excluding that, which I mean,
I said excluding
I
that.
don't think you can exclude that because that was.
I think you
Booker's
can
best
because
team.
Kawhi.
That was
also-
Devin Booker's best team.
That's fair, but Kawhi also imploded during that.
But
bubble.
it was
Like,
not as bad. It
It wasn't as bad, but people.
It was as
But
bad. The people,
did you?
people
He
get Kawhi
got
slack, bro.
one. He got cooked by Luka in that last game, like absolutely cooked. And 2, people give Paul George more shit than they give Kawhi because people just generally have a bias towards Kawhi. And Paul George also had the playoff P thing hanging over his head, and people were just so anxious to jump on that and create a narrative around that. I don't know.
I'm not mad at Paul George being at 1. He has every right to be at number 1.
And I'm not mad at
Personally,
Devin Booker being
I just
at
think
1.
Devin Booker is a better player.
Personally, I would just rather have Paul George over Devin Booker right now, and that's just where I'm at.
I get it. I get it.
You know, I mean, I think people forget Paul George was in the MVP conversation before he, like early season MVP conversation. Paul George was right there before he got hurt. He was putting up. He was putting up numbers.
I'm sorry. There's no excuses for the Clippers this year. I don't care what happens.
No, there isn't.
They have
if
the
tho-
best
if that
team in the league.
If
Like,
that team does not at least go to like a game 6 or 7 in the conference,
dog,
that is bare
it's
minimum.
finals
That
or
is bare
bust. There's
minimum.
no Game 7 conference finals. If they don't get to the fucking finals,
You even
they
think
fail.
like against teams like the Lakers or the Warriors
Yes.
or anyone like that. You think they're
Can't
a lot.
look at
They
the
need to
roster.
make the finals.
Look at the roster the Clippers have.
That's fair.
Look at it.
They have the
I think
best
it's a bit
roster.
overrated. I don't know.
I know, but like just even
They have
if
the
it's
best
overrated-
roster on paper in the West.
in the West, in the league. Best
In the league?
yes,
In the league?
In the league.
In the league.
In the league. Who has a better team on paper than the
You don't want
Los
to hear
Angeles
me say
Clippers?
it. You know what? We're gonna say that for another episode because I know we have some hot takes.
I think the
You know what I
Celtics
mean.
might have a better roster than the Clippers all
Oh
around.
yeah, we easily. What?
Like you look at that team.
They have
That's a team that
Brogdon,
just made the
Gallinari,
finals
Derek
Wait,
White.
that
and
is-
added
I forgot about
Brogdon.
They are scary.
They're
are.
scary. Like Clippers Celtics finals. That'd be an interesting matchup for sure.
Also, the Warriors just have a better roster. I'd say.
Than the Clippers.
Yes.
But I don't know. We lost. We
Curry,
lost them.
Clay,
Okay,
Draymond.
so we lost our depth. Though. We lost Gary Payton. We lost Otto Porter. Even Bielitsa, who was guarding Tatum at times in that finals and was solid, we lost
You
him.
lost Damian Lee.
We
Wait,
lost-
did you lose Damian Lee?
Oh, fuck out of here,
cares?
Damian Lee. Damian Lee.
Okay, but
fair.
I mean, then again, we're gonna have a year 2 Moody, year 2 Kaminga. I think they'll definitely take a.
That's
huge
fair,
jump.
but
Kuminga's
Kuminga-
getting fucking shit on right now. Like
Yeah.
all the Warriors, they hate him. I told you this yesterday. He's not putting in the work.
Okay, but I don't think he needs for his game.
Who's-
he doesn't need to
who's
put in
saying that,
much
though?
on.
Stephen A. Smith said yesterday on First Take, I believe.
I mean,
He
he
said,
has sources. I'm not.
he
gonna
said,
lie.
from
Yeah.
inside sources of the Warriors, everyone in the front office is extremely frustrated at Kuminga because of what he's doing off the court right now, and he's not putting enough time into the court.
See, that's my worry about Kuminga is like you have the physical ability, but do you have the
I
mentality?
don't think he has the mentality.
Oh no, they have Dante DiVincenzo. They have
They had
Wiseman.
DiVincenzo.
They have.
Yeah,
they,
we have
they,
Wise. So we have players that are coming back from injury in terms of Wiseman, and we added DiVincenzo. We've still got Kuminga, Moody, who are going to take on bigger roles. But right now, that's between Moody, Kuminga, and Wiseman. Moody is probably going to be the most reliable out of those three to start the season in terms of I could say, okay, he's going to be this good. But that's 3 really unknowns right there. Even Clay, I don't know how good Clay is going to be. Is Clay going to be better because he's going to have a full off season and a full year from the injury to be able to heal, and he's going to be back into basketball and stuff
I
like
think
that?
he'll be a lot
Or
better.
is he going to be worse because he's getting older and because he's lost that step? He's going to continue to lose that step.
I think his game will.
I think he'll be better, but I don't know. And right now, looking at the Warriors, there's not too many guys I can look at right now and say, you are going to be this good. Whereas with the Clippers, I can look at their roster and I know who those guys are.
And they have the best coach in the league.
Mm-hmm.
There's no excuses. I feel like if not even Paul George, if the Clippers fail this year, you got to go to Seattle. Like you kind of have to, bro. Like,
Yeah. Okay. And then at number 1, I have Devin Booker. I just think, even though you're saying, this Suns team, or I guess you were talking about last year's Suns team, but this year's Suns team was good, and they obviously won 66 games. Sometimes you have to add context in the fact that his team didn't show up. I mean, Devin Booker in Game 4 had 35 points. He had more than Luka, and they lost the game.
Didn't he have like 30 in the first half though, and then just
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many you score in the first half.
well, timely scoring matters.
It
No,
does, but you have 34. Where's your team at?
if you have 30 points in the first half, your team should be up 25.
Yes.
So for everyone else to just not show up, actually, I kind of want to look at the stats of this game because I kind of forget the specific game for. Oh yeah, so Chris Paul had 6 points. Oh no, sorry, 5 points. That was his fouls. He fouled out.
Oh yeah, I remember like the third quarter, bro.
He went 2 for 4. Just
Dog,
absolutely.
that was.
stupid.
I'm being dead serious. That was like the best series I've ever watched, bro.
It was
not
not-
that series, the best game I've ever watched. Like Luka was laughing, bro.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was laughing doing like step back threes. Dog, I feel like the Suns just knew it was gonna happen. They knew they already knew it. Like
Yeah, Devin Booker, I think. Yeah, he's better than the other two. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I've got Paul George. I think I've already kind of said everything I can say.
And you have Booker.
that Booker.
Okay.
Okay.
I kind of want to talk about more, but we're kind of
I-
on a time thing.
I know we are on a time.
We
thing.
can talk about a lot of things.
I
next
wanted to talk since it is 8:24.
Yeah.
It's Kobe Day. I was wondering if you guys wanted to talk Kobe at all. Specifically, I'm curious. Where do you guys put him on your all-time lists?
I don't know. I've never made an all-time list, but if I did, he'd probably be somewhere between 6 to 8.
Okay.
I don't know. I think there's certain players who are just a bit more dominant. I mean, obviously MJ, LeBron.
MJ, LeBron, Kareem should be an undebated top 3, in my opinion.
Yep.
I guess Kareem.
You can put Shaq at 4. You can put Wilt at 4. I don't care who you put at 4.
Wilt at
I'm not.
4.
People have different opinions.
The
Like,
more
people
I've
top
gone
3
through
are
it-
undebated. Those are the 3, and then
Yeah.
whatever you put for the rest, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't really.
As long
care.
as Kobe's in that range from 4 to like 8, you're fine.
I definitely think Kobe's above Magic. I'm just looking at Magic's career. I'm not too high on him.
His career. You're not high on him because of his career.
I say like
MVP as a
like
rookie.
but, like
Finals MVP as a rookie. He had
Revived the
4.
Lakers.
He had 4 MVPs.
4 MVPs.
And he did that in 11
beat the
seasons.
Celtics.
I mean that's
Magic was
fine, but
impressive,
like
bro.
I rarely
He
see
didn't
top
stick it. Never
tens.
mind.
I rarely see top tens with Magic outside the top 5. I normally see him as a top 5. I just
That's-
don't think he's top 5.
That's because when you look at like his tools and everything that he had, being a 6'10" point guard who could pass, dribble, and had a decent shot, there wasn't really many flaws to his game.
Is Duncan higher than Kobe?
It's debatable for sure.
I have Kobe higher than Duncan.
I have Kobe higher than Duncan.
I'd
and that's
probably put
I will
Kobe.
I will go up right out there and say that that's 100% bias because Kobe's the one who made me fall in love with basketball, and I'm just
Duncan's
not.
such a great winner, dude. But I'd give
really
it
is.
to Kobe. I'd give it to Kobe.
Duncan also had better teams consistently than
Oh,
Kobe
for
had.
sure, dude. For sure.
Okay. This is a bit unrelated, and we're gonna end it right after. But I want to ask this: do you guys? How often do you guys see people say Curry over Magic? Like it's just the best point guard of all
I
time.
think after this title, it's pretty common now to say Curry's better than Magic.
I feel like a lot of people say it.
So,
but
okay.
then I feel like there's a pretty even split between people that say it and people that don't say
So
it.
let's just say it's 50-50 of people saying Curry's above Magic, Magic above. How often do you actually see a top 10 list of all time and Curry's actually above Magic? I feel like I've never seen that in
I've
my
never
life.
seen it.
Like people just love to talk, and then when it comes down to actually like
No,
making the
it's
list-
funny because
I think it's because
yeah.
it's Magic's been on that list for so long. People are hesitant to change it.
I mean, it's funny because I've heard people like when they make these lists, they're like, well, I have Curry. Curry's better than Magic, but Magic is greater than Curry.
That's stupid.
Which I don't know.
It's a human being playing basketball.
It's
You're better. Or
Are
you're
you
not.
better
It's,
or are you not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we. won't
I
get
mean,
into too much all time.
personally, as of right now, I don't have Steph over Magic.
Okay.
What does Steph have to do to get above Magic in here?
I think he has to win another championship,
And I'm sorry.
or he has to win another MVP, and I don't know.
Maybe
if
that
that's
will
gonna
happen next year. What do you mean?
I don't think. No, I thought you were gonna say MVP. I don't think he won.
Oh,
He has to either win another championship or another MVP, and I don't know if either's gonna happen.
is MVP really that important?
Yeah,
I feel like incredible seasons go under.
he should have. So if they make the playoffs last year, do you think he wins MVP?
Absolutely not.
If
The
they
year
were like
Jokic had.
if they were a 60, I think so. But
Like makes
like,
the playoffs not as a play-in team.
oh, then yeah, for sure.
As like
Curry was so much better than Jokic. That season, yeah, he was for sure.
Curry had the best season out of anybody.
This Jokic three-peat MVP is going to hit like crack. I'm telling you this now, okay? When Jokic wins his third MVP and is undebatably a top 15 player of all time.
Are you just expecting Zion to get hurt again? Like I'm so confused.
Okay, so
No. This is for something.
No,
else.
no,
We're
no,
not
no.
talking about MVPs. We can't.
we're not talking about MVPs, but I do want to say something about Jokic. And I'm not saying I personally hold this against him, but a lot of people hold team success against players, but don't hold it against Jokic. I understand injuries, I understand everything like that,
Fuck
but
is he supposed to do?
I mean,
I don't
more-
know.
what-
his
like,
last
no,
his
what
last three
more
playoffs
can he
his
do?
last three playoffs was conference finals
Yep.
in the bubble, first round exit, second round or no second. It was first round exit and then another first
No,
round.
they lost to the Suns in the second round, I
Yeah,
believe.
They lost to the Suns second round last year, then a first round exit this year.
The Suns were just a better team than him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say that. And then this year, he I don't know what more he could have done. I don't.
No,
know
he
what-
couldn't. He was cooking in that series. I don't know. I think it's interesting that he never gets team success held against him.
because he doesn't get team success held against him because the Nuggets are supposed to be bad. Last year they were supposed to be the lottery team.
Okay.
But
So then why do
They
people
weren't.
why do people hold like this is just kind of an off the top of my head thing. Why is it fair then to hold team success against Jordan in his early years where
because
they didn't make
NBA
it out
fans
the
have gotten
first round?
smarter.
yep,
That's just literally it.
it's literally it.
I feel like Jordan would have won more MVPs if it was in today's game. If it was
Actually,
decided
that's
in
just
2020.
horseshit. If the NBA fans haven't gotten smarter, why does LeBron only have like 3 MVPs?
He has
Because
four
they've gotten smarter
MVPs.
since then too. I
If-
actually thought Cam was
team.
going to say LeBron.
LeBron deserves so many more MVPs than what he has.
No, why does LeBron also get like again, LeBron
No matter how
Jordan-
great Cam, no matter how great you are, you will always have people that do that.
There's
no
just
matter
haters.
what.
That's
You-
it.
no matter
But
what.
I've not seen a single person do that for Jokic.
Because they're not supposed to be good.
Because-
When you have when you
They're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Neither were the Cavs.
when you're
Neither were
when
the
you're
Bulls.
when you're at the pedestal of greatest players of all time, you're always gonna have that
Cam,
weight on your shoulders.
It's gonna happen this year. Like you're saying that as if Jokic is already retired. It's gonna happen this year. Someone else is gonna win it who's younger because that's kind of been the narrative now. Older players aren't really winning MVPs.
I think Giannis might win MVP this year, honestly. Because
Shut up.
I mean,
We all know
still
we all know
really
who who should win MVP next year. And I don't think it's close at all.
Yeah.
I think we should be
That dude
fairly
in New
clear.
Orleans.
All right. Goodbye.
oh no.
Okay,
You think it's gonna be
No,
Jokic
no.
again?
We'll wait for. We'll do an episode.
I've
for
been waiting to
preseason.
end this for 10 minutes.
I
I'm
know,
not
me
even
too.
joking. So
Well, we got to do a preseason. Like before the season starts, we'll do predictions.
I'm ending it. Peace.
Yeah.